G'day everyone and welcome to my fourth Flosstube video. I'm Rach or Rara and I'm coming to you from the South Island of New Zealand. I've become very aware of the humming when I do these videos. I'd like to thank everyone who's taken the time to comment and subscribe to my channel in the last few weeks. I'm still getting comments from earlier videos, so it's really nice to see. I'd also like to thank two people who that I'm aware of have given me shout outs. One is Sam, I believe her name is, from Mind My Needle, and she is a fellow Kiwi floss tuber from the North Island of New Zealand. I'm in the South Island, and she has some really cool little projects that she's working on, and a really darling little cat called Snowball that appears now and again. And the other person I'd like to thank is, I believe, and I forgot to check this, I only wrote half the name down, Crafty Cat Stitcher, I think her name is, who gave me a shout out as well. And I noticed when I watched your video, your first video, I think I always try to watch the first video and then follow through, except for some of the people who've got loads of videos. I'm sort of up to date and then I'm filling in the blank as well. But watching your first video, Crafty Cat, I shall call you, because I don't think you said your name, or certainly not in the video I watched. You had a board of cards behind you, cat things, and it made me think of a card that I had, and I thought I would share it with you, which just makes me chuckle, and I'll hopefully be able to do it. There, hold it like that. And it says, if it wasn't very clear, Cat was desperately trying to convey the magnitude of his hunger to owner by feigning death. And that just makes me laugh when I see that. I tend to collect cards. When I had my flat in London, I had a sort of an inspiration wall with cards that were nice and they had water basically. I'm a water sign and I do find water calming. So I had lots of images of water, and then I had some things that were inspirational and some things that made me laugh. So I tend to, when I see a card, I quite often will get it if it speaks to me in some way, and just to be equal opportunities, not only do I have the cat card, I have a dog card. Now this is Tin Man, which is by a New Zealand artist called Tony Cribb, and this just makes me laugh. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. The title of the card is Defiance, and the dog is telling Tin Man to fetch it himself because he threw it. I just think that's very funny. There are loads in this series that just make me chuckle, but this was the one I decided to get. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Around the shout outs, it'd be really nice if someone gives you a shout out, or someone sends you somewhere because of a shout out, to just comment and say, I'm here because somebody said go visit your channel, because I'm sure that there are loads of us that visit channels based on someone's recommendation. It would be really nice for them to know who's sending, you know, especially if there's a wave of people or something like that, where have you all come from, so that we can go and thank those people for pointing them in our direction. Okay, anyway, the other thing I wanted to say, I think, regarding or from Sam, probably is the better way. She made a comment either here or on Instagram about how I was a speedy stitcher. I'm not really a speedy stitcher. I can't even say it really, because, well, I don't think I am, let's put it that way. It's just that I have the time to stitch. My glasses are just a teeny bit too high, that's better. I'm blessed to be able to be in a position to look after my mother, so I have plenty of free time. I usually get everything done in the morning so that in the afternoon I can watch whatever live sport is coming in from wherever around the world, and I craft at the same time. So at the moment I'm stitching. The World Series baseball is on. I've decided to cheer for the Dodgers. No real intellectual reason why other than Rob Lowe. So I watch the baseball and I do stitching, and when the announcers get excited, I look up and have a look at what's going on, and then I just carry on. So that's why it seems like I'm a speedy stitcher. I'm sure that once the other projects all start in the new year, it won't look as, I won't be progressing as much as it seems like I am now. I've decided to dub next year the year of the prolific stitch, because I have the time to do it. Partly one of the reasons why I'm taking on so much, because I have the time to do it. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's get on. So, again, just a quick recap from the previous videos. If this is the first one you're coming into, I only have one work in progress at the moment. I only picked this up again about a month or so ago after I discovered Flosstube, and it reignited the stitchy bug that had sort of disappeared about 18 months ago. So I'm working furiously to finish the piece that I had put down, and then I've got big plans. This is also the last week, we hope, where there is only one work in progress. It should be from here on in, there will be at least two, and then ultimately an awful lot more. So I am currently working on the Lizzie Kate Six Fat Men, I believe it's called, and I'm working on it, as this shows, in one piece. And I have completed 1, 2, 3, and I'm working on this one now. So when we were here, when I saw you last, I had just done the words at the top of the block. So this is now where I am at my nicely non-ironed project. So there we go. So I have done pretty much the snowman, the owl, there's a bird here, the bunny has been done. So what I've got left is there's another bird just in here where you can see the angle. There's some snowflakes across here that are blue, dark and light blue, and then filling in with some more white snow. So that's where we're at this week. So my intention is over the weekend, it's Friday afternoon now, by the end of the weekend I'd like to have finished this completely so that I can move on to the next block. Right, where am I putting all of this so it's not going to fall down? Now, I knew I hadn't seen recently some of the old things that I had worked on, and I knew roughly where they possibly were in a box, so I went and had a look, and I found some stuff. 3, I guess, are work in progresses, but 2 I won't ever finish. The third one I think I will do, but I won't do it straight away. I want to work on some of the things that I've planned, which I'll show you later in the video. And then 2 finishes that I've got. There are other finishes, but they've been given to my mother and they're packed away in a box now as well. So the first thing I have to show you are these they're shepherd's bush, sort of, I guess they're band samplers. They're just, I don't know how close I can get the picture. They're very pale, and that one must be violets. Yep. And then there's this little pinkish one. Is there a date on these? Oh, these are copyrighted at 1989. When I got them, I'm not 100% certain. So this is basically all I've done on those one. That's one of them. That's the other. Don't ask me which is which. So they've been sitting there, and these now don't really appeal to me. The colours are beautiful. I mean, I've actually got all the threads from back in the time as well. There's a bit of cardstock. Colours are lovely, but yeah, the whole thing, it doesn't really appeal to me at all. So it's my intention, I've got this piece of fabric which is, I don't know, maybe less than 12 inches deep but quite long. I'm probably going to lop off, or maybe even just leave it, I don't know. But there's enough room here to do a small of some description, so I will just reuse the fabric, but I won't complete those charts. They're not my style now, they don't appeal to me. And in fact, I had actually forgotten that I had done them. The next work in progress that I've got, and I'm going to get everything mixed up now. This came out of a magazine, and it's got a framing offer on the back, and the offer ends on the 28th of February 1991. It's an English magazine, I think. Yeah, because it's £8.95 for the kit. Yep. So this, I do not know what magazine it came out of, because there's nothing, I don't think, that tells me the magazine. The kit, actually, it says here the closing date for the kit, to purchase the kit, is the 30th of November 1990. Definitely was in England at that time. So yeah, it's actually quite, I'm undecided about it now. I quite like it, but I'm not sure if I will. I can imagine it's cats that made me decide that that's why I was going to stitch it. Anyway, so this, and it's been stitched on Ada, not that that's a problem. That's as far as I had got with it. So the roof of the house, that must be part of a cat. So I hadn't actually got very far before I had put it down, and I'd have to, I can't even think what I was doing in 99 that made me stop what I was doing with it. Oh, there's something there too. Anyway, so that's that one. And this one, I'll take it out of the plastic so it's less. This is the one that I think I will eventually finish. It's by the Drawn Thread. The label's over the top of it. So yeah, the Drawn Thread. And it's the 12 Houses sampler. Which I like houses, anything with houses on it. So I think, and this is how much I've actually done. You see it's got 1999 on it. So I've actually only got, I did work it out, there is, where are we? So we've got the date, I can't even see it. We've got here, I think, and the other side of the date. So we've got that house and the trees, and that tree there. And I know that tree and the house have specialty stitches on them. And that's possibly one of the reasons it got put down, because I was like, oh my god, specialty stitches. Part of me is thinking that the house, certainly I might just cross stitch the roof, and then I'll just have to figure out about doing the other specialty stitches. But that's just, I really like that. I love the colours of it. I can't believe I've got such a small thing, and it does look like it is over 2 anyway. So those are the work in progress things that I've got, and then I've got 2 finishes. So unfinished can't remember the term, that's finished stitching, is just not framed. So this is the first one. I also quite like birds. So this would have been brought in England, and this was done on an Ada, gosh, back in the day. So that's, I like Little Kingfisher. So that's finished. And this next one, I don't have the information for it. It may be in another box somewhere, but it's certainly not with this. And I suspect this was meant to be a cushion cover, made into a cushion cover. So another sampler type project, and it, as far as I can remember, is finished. It is meant to just be a straight line across the bottom. I'm sure if it wasn't finished I would still have the information. So yeah, I'm not sure what I will do with that. I think the alphabet is very bold. It's like a royal blue, and I think when it goes up next to some of the other things that I will have stitched, it's going to clash too much, so I'll just leave that for the time being. Okay, so that's some of the old stuff that I managed to find. I also got on board the Save Your Stitches bandwagon. I went for a drive last week to another town, which is about a half-hour drive from here, and between those two, out my place and that place, there's a little township that has a second-hand shop, and I was finally able to stop in there. So I had a little look around. I love anything vintage, so there was lots of things for me to look at, and I had a look in the linens. I think there was one stitched frame thing, but it didn't appeal to me, so I thought if I'm saving stitches, I'm saving stitches that I actually like, not just doing it because. So I'm afraid I left the frame piece behind, but I got some little, this is a tray cover, and it's all cross stitched, so they've got pretty little flowers. It's a little bit stained, but I'm sure that that's just a case of actually washing it properly. So that's just I would call that a tray cover, or on the top of your dresser or something like that. Then we have this tablecloth, which is, I am not opening out properly, but it has got, yes, let me get a better view. So we have got a really nice dragon. Again, this is all cross stitched, and we've got a little wagon up there, the tree in the corner. I see some of the stitches actually truly do need saving. I don't know that I'm actually clever enough to do anything with that. I'll just have to be careful. So, gosh, look how tidy the other side is, my goodness. You'll never see me stitching a tablecloth, that's for sure, because there's no way I would have it that tidy. It's amazing. Even the back side of the dragon is amazing. So Asian themed, but really nicely executed, and that's something I could see myself using quite easily. Blues, which is one of my main colours that I like. And the third piece, which is my favourite piece, is, again, I would call this a tray cloth to put in a tray. And I will try and just slowly go around it, so you'll see them up the right way in a minute. I think this, and I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing here, I think this is Dutch. The theme is certainly Dutch, I would suggest. Oh, I can't, this is hopeless. I would say those little soles are definitely Dutch. So whether this was stitched by somebody in New Zealand who was Dutch or brought out from Holland, look at that. It's just beautiful. I haven't even looked on the back of that. So that's got a couple of little holes in it, but nothing that doesn't bother me. I just think it's a beautiful piece, and well worth saving. Okay, so those are my save the stitches. Moving along, I have 3 things to show for haul. 2 of them Laurie from Mischievous Stitches is responsible for, and one is from Lynette from Homesteading on the Home Front. If you haven't seen her blog before, she's got some really cool projects. I guess her unique selling point, if you like, is that she lives in Guam, and she has one of the videos recorded from the deck with the ocean over her shoulder. So anyway, she showed a project that I believe was stitched by her mother-in-law. If not, it was her mother, but I do think it was her mother-in-law. It's in the 3rd video, and I was like, wow. So I was like, commented about, you know, how amazing this was, and she said, oh, she sees it come up on eBay, and I'm like, oh no, eBay. I loved eBay when I lived in England. eBay doesn't exist in New Zealand. We have a New Zealand version of it, which is nowhere near as amazing as eBay elsewhere is. Can I, as a outsider, you know, a non-American resident, join eBay? And will they send to New Zealand? So I was like, do I look? So I looked, and I found it. And I communicated with the seller, and, you know, do you post in New Zealand? Yes, she does. It'll be X amount. It was very reasonable. So I purchased it. And this is what it is. So this is what, the whole piece was what Lynette showed, and then you've got elements of it made into other things. So this is the Cricket collection, and it's called Coverlet Sampler, and it's number 19. And the stitched up version of this is just lovely. The date on the chart is 1985, and yeah, so I was impressed with the person that I brought this off on eBay. They communicated well. They let me know when it went in the post, even though it wasn't tracked, and it came to me possibly even a few days before they were predicted that it would. So, you know, having had positive and negative experiences with the UK version of eBay, I know that things can go wrong, but certainly this didn't. Which means I have been looking through the cross-stitch charts on eBay. I'm trying not to look at any of the other things that I used to look at in England, because I wouldn't buy any vintage glassware or china or anything like that and have it shipped, because it's just too risky. I just don't want to get upset about all the beautiful things that I would love to have that I can't have. So, but I have looked at the cross-stitch things, and I'm just trying not to go mad. Anyway, so that we can thank Lynette from Homesteading on the Home Front for that. Laurie's contribution to my stash, I can show you one now, and one I'll show you in a minute because it's part of next year's starts. So this is, if you've never watched Laurie at the Mischievous Stitches, first of all, you're missing out on a treat. She has a great screen personality, just seems a really warm, lovely person, and I imagine that how she comes across on the screen is how she actually is. And she is looking at doing Year of Samplers next year, so she's been showing an awful lot of samplers and on the way. And this was one of the ones that she showed Miss Lucy Calcutt, 1825. Come back, it's not too clear, you can see the whole thing. And this, I really like the look of this, and the colours in it are just beautiful. So I'm putting this, I think I mentioned it in another video, excuse me, this is in my first reserve spot. So the minute something of the big five are finished, I'm starting this. So I sent away, I believe you do it through a blog. I brought it through the woman's blog. If I just shift this piece of paper, I can tell you. juststitchingalong.blogspot.com is where I got it from, and again I think I got it very quickly. She communicated well, she was happy to send to New Zealand, and I'm more than happy to have that in my stash and to look to start it. Okay, I'll show you the other thing that Laurie's responsible for in a minute. I've got myself all organised for next year. Santa's Village will start next week. I have cut the 52-inch piece of material in half. I'm still panicking on size, but I have checked the measurements so many times that I think I'm just getting paranoid now. But I still think what I will do is, where's the chart? If I can get my hand on it. This little band here obviously goes across all of them, and I think what I will actually do is stitch all of that across the top, and then just sort of count down the side and just, you know, be sure in my mind at seeing it on the fabric that it's all going to fit. So I've got that out of sequence now. Let me just quickly check, where does that go in after that one. I have been getting all organised in my stitchy journal. I've even got a tag now. I'm a bit nerdy like that, really. So what I have done, I think in last week's instalment I was doing week about, and I think that was because I hadn't yet added another one into the list. So I don't know how well this is going to show up on the screen. If you can see, it's color coded. Yeah, it's gonna last about 2 days, but anyway, what I'm going to try is a 4-day rotation. So each project will have 4 days, and then I'll move on to the next one. Anyway, I'm going to give it a go that way. I've included in the rotation 2 4-day free slots, if that makes sense. So we'll have 4 weeks and then a free 4 projects, and then a free 4 days, another 4 projects, and then another free 4 days. And in those free days will be either catch up on something I wasn't able to do because I had hospital stuff with my mother. As I've said before, if a block is literally half a dozen stitches to finish, get that done, or just literally have a little bit of a break. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to see how that goes, and if it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work, and I'll just do what I can do. So I'm going to show you what the plan of attack is now, in the order that it will be from next year, even though Santa's Village is actually going to start next week for the stitch along. That should be, it hasn't actually been mentioned again on the Little House Country Cottage Facebook group, but it's due to kick off on the 3rd of November. So I might need to have that open in front of me, just in case I've got something mixed up. So the first project in my, oh, I didn't realise I pulled that out. The first project will be the Orchard Valley Quilting Bee. by Little House Needleworks. This is kitted, ready to go. I've got the fabric, I've got the threads, so that one's ready to go. The second project is the Village of Hawk Run Hollow. So I haven't got fabric or threads for this. Was meant to go out today, but my mother's hurt her back, so I've been dealing with her today. So hopefully on Monday I should get the fabric for that, and then I can look at the threads. I have got a bit of a collection of DMCs. I'm not doing it in silks, I'm doing it in DMCs. So I'll look at what I've got versus then what I need to buy. The third, I don't want to call it week because it's not week. The third section of the rotation is what I'm calling mediums, and these are smaller things which I'm hoping I can get 2 or 3, or maybe I should say 3 or 4, I don't know, finished over the course of a year. And the first one that I'm starting with is Harvest Keeper, I think this one's called. I'm looking at it upside down around the wrong way. Again, I don't have the fabric or the threads for this, and I think I'm actually going to order the Gentle Arts threads for this, because I think it will, obviously it will make the project a lot better than just doing it in DMC. So I think for some of the smaller projects I will use the specialty threads. So I will, that's another thing that I need to do, but that I can do that in November or December. I can order those. So that's the third project. After mediums comes the Garden Club series, and I have actually got on my way to me parts 4, 5, 6 and 7. I tried a different online shop, just just to see what their service was like. It took a long time from when I placed the order for it to go. It's Friday in New Zealand. I think I ordered it last Sunday, and I only got the information that it had shipped yesterday, which is certainly a lot slower than 123 Stitch. They usually got the stuff in the post within 36 hours. But they have sent me a tracking number, which is good. 123 Stitch track their stuff. I'm quite happy with the service of 123 Stitch, but they didn't have part 5. They still didn't have part 5, so I decided to have a look and see if I could get it elsewhere. And I found this other website, and I've given it a go to see. So when it gets here, we'll see what happens. So this will be project number 4, and then after that will be the 4. I'll have the free 4 days to do whatever. The next project, number 5, is the Santa's Village. So I will start this next Friday. I only intend to do the first block as part of the stitch along. No matter how quick I get it done, I'll then put it away and leave it until it comes up in the rotation next year. Part 6 is Quaker R6 months in my best no French accent business, which is a free chart. Quaker in 6 parts is what I'm thinking it is, but anyway, it might be wrong. I saw this. Michelle with Striped Rose, I think, is stitching it. Kindred Stitcher is or has stitched it, and I think Jessica the Schoolhouse Stitcher has stitched it. I went and had a look. I got some information via the Kindred Stitchers post or Flosstube video about where she had found the chart, and I couldn't get it in either of the 2 places that she said, and I posted in Stitch Mania, and I believe Jessica herself actually replied and said there is actually a Facebook group for this. So if you see people doing this and you like this, my suggestion would be that you go straight to the Stitch Along group on Facebook. It's a closed group, so you'll need to request to join, and it's if I can do it. up there. That's what the group is called. Okay, so I'll just do a very quick, I'm sure you've seen this in other, so that was the top bit, that's sort of the bottom bit. And the charts in their files, it's very easy then to just to download it and print it out. I don't think I've got the fabric for this. I do have some fabric. I had spare fabric. I don't know why I had a whole lot of spare fabric, but it looks like I've got some that should work for the Garden Series Club, and a couple of other, there was something else, I can't remember which one it was now. So it might be this one as well. Let me look on my page. I'm delaying, which is not good. Oh, it's the wrong book. Never mind. What I haven't decided is what colour I'm going to stitch it in, and I'd like to do it in a variegated thread. I'm thinking it's going to be a blue, although I really like the reds and the sort of the, it's not dusty pink, but there are some nice pinks that I'm seeing as well. So I'm still trying to decide what that is, but I'll have to pinpoint it because I'll need to get on and get that ordered. Okay, this is number 7 in my rotation, and this is the other one that I can thank Laurie for. This is the By the Bay Needle Arts 13th Colony, and I've got all 3 parts, and I intend to do them as one piece. When she showed this early on in her videos, I'm like, I remember that. I've probably still got them saved in my favourites on Etsy from back when I was in England, and I just never did get around to buying them. And just seeing them reminded me about them, so I went straight off to Etsy and ordered them then and there through the actual By the Bay Needle Art shop. I can't even speak properly. So I have to get the fabric and the threads for this, but it's DMC. She only lists it as DMC, so I can get those in New Zealand for sure, and I can get some fabric at the local craft shop, either here or actually in the city. So, and then the 8th project in my rotation will be smalls. So ornaments, just little pieces. I'd like to do not the dough bowls that everybody has, but I saw in the Christmas shop we have in town branches, and I quite like to do something that hangs off the branches each year throughout the year, so seasonal, Eastery, summer, winter. We don't celebrate some of the things that you guys celebrate, but you know, I could do a few Halloween things. Some of the Halloween things are quite cute that I've seen. Anyway, so smalls is part 8 of my rotation, and I came across this one. I believe someone has done it, which made me then go looking on Pinterest, and I found it, and I actually managed to print it off just by saving the photo. It's a free chart from Hands to Work, and it's called Live Simply, and it's a relatively small stitch. It's 90 by 101. So I've got fabric I can use for this, and I've probably got thread. I just need to decide on what colour I'm going to do it in. So that's my lot. It's all very exciting now, but ask me again at the end of January and we'll see. I'm thoroughly enjoying stitching. I'm really keen to get the snowman done. As I say, hopefully by the end of the weekend I'll finish the block I'm on now, and then I can work on the 5th block and then start Santa's Village next week when the stitch along begins. Alright, I think I have covered everything. Thank you all for watching, thank you for commenting, for subscribing. Hopefully there will be more things to look at, to observe. I don't know what the correct thing is, oogle at. Hopefully I can enable a few people, or get you started on something. A few people have said, oh, I've got that in my stash, I haven't done anything with it yet. Do it. I'm currently binge watching Off the Grid Needle Arts, Caroline, I think her name is. She's got some really amazing projects, and I've definitely written a few things down from her, but at the moment my big project schedule is full, and I have to keep reminding myself of that. And I'm kind of already thinking about 2019, which isn't a good idea, but it's fun, isn't it? So anyway, I shall love you and leave you now. It's 40 minutes. Hopefully this won't have too much problem uploading, and I shall be back after the 3rd of November so I can have 2 works in progress. We'll see. If I only have one, you'll know that there are fabric problems. So anyway, we'll see. Have a great time stitching, everyone. Keep sharing all your wonderful projects. If you've been thinking, oh, maybe I'll have a go at doing a video, do it. There's loads of people are cropping up all over the I want to say show, but that's not the right way. You know, loads of people are popping up with their Flosstube videos, and you know, there's just loads of inspiration out there, and it's just a wonderfully welcoming community. So anyway, happy stitching. Until I see you next time, take care, and we'll see you again. Cheers, bye bye.